Okay, good morning, Jake.
Hello.
Hello. So, can you tell us very briefly where people might know you from? I know you're very humble, but I think people are going to know lots of the names of films you've been in. Can you give us a quick overview of what you've been in, what people might see you in?
Yeah. So I have done quite a few films. Let me think. So Stardust would be one of the bigger ones.
Love that film.
Ridley Scott's Robin Hood.
Ooh.
Maze Runner, Death Cure, which was out fairly recently. Journey's End was out
And how
fairly
did that work
recently,
out? Did
and
you get a cure for death?
Fury. No,
No, okay.
no.
I'm going to not interrupt anymore.
It was the third in a trilogy. So yeah, I think that's the end of that. I didn't watch the first two movies. Maybe
You're
I
not
shouldn't
allowed
say
to
that.
say
But,
that, are you? No.
and no, I should have done my research.
And the last one that's come out.
The Owners, which is out right now.
Yeah, that's on Amazon, everyone. Go and buy it. It's really good. Really good.
So buy it or rent it.
Yeah, or rent it. Do people rent anymore? But yeah, you should do it. It's really good. I can recommend. And the reason I'm speaking with you today, as you know, is because I've asked you to be an ambassador for our upcoming expansion of our school, the Learn to Shine School. Have you lost me? Can you hear me okay now?
No, you're back again.
I'm back. I love Zoom. I'm going to have to edit this and I don't know how. So I've asked you to be an ambassador for our school for some very important reasons. And one of them for the students' benefit. Could you explain to people watching what was your personal experience of school like? Was it positive?
Yeah, I mean, I had very, I didn't enjoy school. I had a bad experience of school. I'm dyslexic, but I didn't know that until I was just about to go into secondary school. So there was no provision made. And in fact, it wasn't really something at that time that was really recognized or tested for. Mm-hmm. So if you thought differently, you were kind of left behind, basically. And I had teachers calling me stupid and stuff like that. I had books thrown at me for not keeping up in class, essentially.
It's unbelievable.
Then I went to secondary school. There were some, it is. And thinking back on it, it was kind of a terrifying time for me because I didn't know. I felt like I was being conscientious. I was trying hard. I just wasn't. My brain wasn't able to process the information in the way they wanted me to. Mm-hmm. Then I went at secondary school. There was some provision made, but it was still in the early days of that. And I also went to a school that had other issues, and so I kind of got lost in the educational side of school. Mm-hmm. And it was easy then to kind of tune out, misbehave, and that kind of stuff. I was lucky in that I found other things, other places to put my energies.
So acting was like an outlet for all your energy and like a release.
Yeah, exactly. My mum was very keen. There's four of us kids, and she was very keen on getting us into extracurricular activities. Mm-hmm. that were kind of projections of our personality, if you like. So we didn't all do the same things. And so my brother played football. I did drama. My sister did gymnastics. We were all kind of. But that was I was lucky in that sense. Yeah.
So would you say that it's not an understatement to say that somebody calling you stupid on a regular basis, and especially when you feel like you've got all this intelligence and you're a bright person, but you can't translate it to someone else? Like, what impact does that have on you as a child, would you say?
Huge. And actually it's only now really that I'm kind of unpicking it, because you just accept the way you're treated as a child.
Yep.
Because you acquiesce all of your authority to authority figures because that's who they are. So the teacher is the be all and end all, and if they tell you that, then that is the truth. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. And actually, interestingly, after our conversation yesterday, I thought about it a lot more, because my first reaction when you very kindly offered me to be an ambassador, and I wanted to because it's something I care about, but I didn't feel like I was the right person for it. I felt like I would do it wrong. And that all goes directly back to how you're told you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
And if you're told you're doing it wrong all the time, then you are always second guessing yourself as to whether you're doing it wrong now. So it comes with some good things in that I'm extremely conscientious and I work hard in order to do, I want to excel, so I work hard at doing that. But then I have an inner dialogue which is negative. And there's mental health implications with that,
Yeah. And also that, so like you say, it's a lifelong strike that they've made against you, and then you have to kind of, as an adult, unpick that and kind of forgive yourself, even though you don't need to forgive yourself because you haven't done anything wrong. But it's a bit of a weird, now I can see retrospectively that they were wrong, not me. And if you hadn't had somebody like your mum, who I know is really, really supportive, as you say, you could go down a completely different path. You could end up misbehaving or just saying, well, what's the point, because no one takes me seriously anyway.
Why try
exactly.
Yeah.
And what do you think, like, were there any key moments?
I'm very lucky.
Sorry, I was going to say, were there any moments where you were like, right, I'm gonna succeed in spite of you rather than because of you, or was it a gradual thing?
It was a gradual thing, but again, that's a dialogue that I carry with me, is that I have a point to prove when you don't really. But I was having difficulties at school, and my mum knew about a drama club that was on Saturday mornings, and she said, maybe you'd like to try it. I was crying in bed about school, and she obviously thought, let's find a different place for you to, what the thing, I was quite mouthy, and I like to act out and all of that kind of stuff. And I think she thought, if we can channel those energies, then you'll be celebrated for those things, as opposed to being a difficult person who needs to sit at the back. You can find a place where you can sit at the front, and people, this is your chance to shine, if you like.
That's a really nice way of putting it, that you shouldn't have to tolerate school and just be there just sort of marking time. It should be
getting through
just
it
like everybody else. And actually, of course, there's going to be subjects that you're like, oh, I don't really enjoy that as much, but every lesson should be really allowing you to see yourself in different ways, as in a positive light, not like just sit here and mark time till the bell goes. That is a complete waste of everybody's time. So if there was something like learn to shine around when you were studying or as a child, like how would that have helped you, and why would you recommend it for other children to go to?
I think it's just the language that you use to teach is vital, and a nurturing environment is key if you want to get the best out of anybody. I've done quite a lot of theatre, and I've worked with a lot of directors who take the role of teacher, if you like, in that respect, because they're guiding you through a text that you're trying to comprehend and you're trying to communicate. So you have to digest it, and the good ones are the ones who are going to take what you have and help you to explore that, and they'll get a result with you together as a process. And the bad ones, the ones who say, no, that's wrong, I don't want to see that, I want this. And then you have to go back inside yourself and then do a lot of work to process the negativity you've just received in order to do that. So it's a kind of back step to go forward. Whereas if you nurture someone, care for them, give them a voice, then they will do better. Yeah.
That's really interesting hearing that, how that's received as an actor as well, like having to go, oh, okay, stop. I now need to completely change what I've just done. And then you're like having to deal with insecurity on top of what you've just done and need to concentrate on. So I think the old school, shouting at somebody till they get a performance, or shouting at somebody until they do what you want, is just really old fashioned, and it doesn't work. And actually, from a psychological point of view, when teachers say things like put your hand up, it releases cortisol in students, because there's like, oh, I've got to say something, even if they actually do know something to say, and then they go blank because the brain's gone into frightened mode, and it's actually not the best way of getting information. And there's lots of ways of drawing things out that, if you know about it, makes a big difference. And I think that's what I'm really happy that you're part of the journey, because you've actually lived through it, you've experienced the bad way of dealing with it, and you see what could have been, and you've succeeded in spite of that. So I'm really
because there's nothing wrong with things being difficult or challenging, but it's how you move forward through those things, and how you're encouraged to do those things. Encouragement is like a really key word, because as soon as you're discouraged, it's easy for you to give up and think, well, I can't do it because you don't believe I can. And it's easy for then, I'll just let myself off the hook and be like, fine, I can't do it, or I won't do it, or I won't do it the way you want me to do it.
Yeah, there's a lot of processes going on, isn't there, in the brain? But I just want to say thank you very much for being on board with us. And is there anything you want to say to the pupils or the families or anything before we go? Put you on the spot there, haven't I?
What? Yeah, you have a little bit, but I mean, I think there is. It's just whether I can articulate. Maybe I should put my hand up. It's whether I can articulate it well or enough or not. But I think what you're doing, what Learn to Shine is doing, is empowering people, giving people the tools that fit the brain that they have, as opposed to trying to get people to learn or educate themselves in a way that's alien from that. And as soon as you do that, it's person-centric, and you're able to kind of curate, if you like, your own education according to the things that you want to be doing in life. And like I was just saying, there's nothing wrong with things being difficult and challenging, because that is life. It's always going to throw up these things. But if you're spoken to in a way from an early age that makes you be able to step into those difficulties and know that you have the resources within you to deal with those, then you're kind of set for life. And you know, I'm sure everybody needs to, you know, do some therapy down the road or whatever. But that's it's talking to individuals and helping individuals learn to shine.
Yeah, I think what you've just said is incredibly articulate. So you should never ever feel that is a weakness. That was incredibly articulate, and I might have to steal some of the stuff you said. So sorry about that.
Please put it in copy.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for your time. And hopefully when the plan is over, you can come and meet the pupils, and maybe we could have an acting masterclass or something like that.
I'd love that. I genuinely love that. Yeah, let's hook that up.
Okay. Well, I'm going to try and stop the recording now. Okay. But thank you.